about casual.
Yeah.
Barefoot up in here.
You have my bare foot in there? Do you have my foot in there? Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, it's a real deal, man. That's kind of some crazy stuff, though, isn't it? So that place, I really invested. I gave you guys $1 million. It was nuts, man. It was crazy. They'd have cookout once a week. I'm not kidding, man. Women show up in bathing suits and lingerie, and it was wild, man. We're talking about dress today, talking about attire, talking about specifically business casual. It's a new wave of generation. My name's Brad Hogan. If you're joining me for the first time, I'm a business guy in Central Florida. What I'm talking about in totality is business and how we get started. Dress is one of those things that's very important, and we're in an ever-changing environment. What's business casual look like today? Can I believe that's even a question? Let's talk about what dress attire used to look like. Not to go back to the Stone Ages, but in my lifetime, when we talked about the different ways to dress, we had black tie, which meant just that. Men are in tuxedos, women in ball gowns. We still have those parties today. I've got 3 invitations right now for weddings coming up that are all black tie. Is that a thing that's coming back? I don't know. Probably depends on what circle you run in. Then we have formal office. And what that meant was men, and this used to be those big 8 accounting firms, etc., office corporate settings. What formal meant was a suit for men. I don't know exactly what it is for women, but the suit for men means matching jacket, matching slacks, and you're in a shirt and tie. Depends on dress code. Some corporations, it was a white shirt. Others, you go to a law office or something. Some of them are still this way. So conservative that you can't have on a slip-on dress shoe. I don't care if you paid $600 or $800 for your shoes. No slip on. They've got to be tied. The casual meant a jacket, shirt and tie, slacks, but the jacket and slacks didn't have to match. And then this thing came along that's business casual. And what that came to mean was this is Dockers and a 3-button or Dockers and a dress shirt without a tie. That was considered business casual. And as we know today, I mean, that scale's just changed. My personal opinion, I think about my parents in the church. When we went away from all those old hymns, Bill Gaither wrote a bunch of them. We go away from those hymns and it's kind of new age or modern music. A lot of the older people left the church. And I remember talking to my parents, and here I am, I can't remember, late teens, early 20s, talking to my parents. I said, what do you think? And they said, hey, it's all the same focus. So whether we're talking about church now or business, it's the same focus. We're going the same place. You've got to adapt and change or you're not going to be here. The point being in the church, hey, just, get your arms around this new music, accept it, take it on. It's all a good thing. It's all coming from the right place, meaning well. I think the same thing in work environment. Everything's kind of shifted. It's changed. It's a lot more casual. Embrace it. You just kind of figure out your guidelines, what you're going to do, who you're leading. I'm all for it. It's just changed. I've embraced it. Wasn't big on jeans in the past. Just wasn't my thing. I was comfortable. I could come home from the office, sit down on the sofa and fall asleep in a suit and tie. I mean, it just became so second nature. Today, many, many, many times I'm getting ready to go somewhere. For me, dressed up it's jeans, loafers, throw on a jacket maybe. That's pretty dressed up, right? Just don't be out of place. Don't be underdressed. So as I'm talking to my buddies, I've got some buddies in the corporate world that work for some of the big 8 accounting firms. Doug, one of my friends, was sharing with me that they came out with a new dress code, a new dress policy. And he was sharing it with me. I jotted down just a few notes as we were talking. It's like, man, I can't believe that's even a deal. But a big eight accounting firm, being the corporate world as conservative as it gets, I'm going to call them bankers. They're actually accountants. When I think about that, old school, number one, it's the business colors. So you're not going to see anybody in a green suit or a tan suit. It's the dark gray, it's the black. You don't want a solid black suit that's a power suit, etc. It could be a light gray, the blue stripes, all that kind of stuff. That's all old school stuff, but that's what you see. And what we were talking about was how everything has become a lot more casual. And he said everything got so casual in the workplace. This is some of the things he shared with me: shirts, blouses, and tops. So, no crop tops, no tank tops bearing shoulders, no halter tops, no strapless tops, no spaghetti straps, no t shirts with writing or emblems on them, no sweatshirts, and no bare midriff. And that was just kind of a starter. And I looked at him, I go, is that even a thing? I mean, you got girls showing up with half tops on. He goes, man, just everything goes. Because we are so much more casual, and I don't mean to be old and stuffy, check me out. This is how I go to work. I've got on a sun shirt and shorts. And this is basically my attire commensurate with what I do. I used to be a suit and tie guy, but no more. So, what does your workplace look like, and how do you present yourself professionally to your clients in this new generation of casual? What's that look like? Doug went on to talk about no old or ripped jeans, no short skirts, no leggings. Sorry for you girls that just love leggings that wear them every day. They go to die. Cargo pants, knee-length capris, sweatpants, yoga pants, etc. Footwear, athletic or tennis shoes not allowed in that workplace. Sports sandals, Birkenstock style sandals, flip-flops, hiking boots, etc. Those are some of the things that are not allowed in that workplace when we're talking banker mentality. My overall advice is this: wherever you're going, dress just a step above whatever the event is. I don't know if you've ever done it. I have. Is be underdressed. You walk in somewhere underdressed. I remember a buddy called me. It was a get together, it was a party, and he said, hey, stop by. Okay, I'll stop by. And I went in, I had on a pair of blue jeans, and I had on a white dress shirt. I walked in, all men, all women, decked out. I mean, there wasn't anybody casual. I was way too casual. It just felt out of place. It felt awkward. Thank goodness it was my friends. But, I was a duck out of water, obviously. My advice to guys: if you don't know the situation you're going into, you can always wear the blue suit, white shirt, tie. You get there and you're overdressed, ditch the jacket, pull off the tie, you got on a pair of blue slacks and a white shirt, and you're good. That's if you don't know what situation you're going in. Depends on your office, how everything operates. I personally, and I see it a lot, I have gone to blue jeans, which never wore before in the office, but today it's today's style. I'm right with it. So it's blue jeans and loafers and a 3-button, a golf shirt, or I'm not a t-shirt guy, but it could be a sun shirt or something like that is the casual in my work environment. I think of the places that were dressy before that were suit and tie, and today it's more like Dockers and a golf shirt, or Dockers and a sweater, depending on where you are. For me, casual used to be dress slacks and a sweater, or dress slacks and a 3-button, but no more. just what's acceptable. I think the main thing, is be presentable. Be presentable no matter where you're going or where you're at. Just look at yourself in the mirror, who you're representing. Think about your customer. Think about your client. Who are they? What do they expect? I subscribe to the theory that you've got to do the right things and play the right part for who you are and what you're doing 100%. I owned two different finance companies. The first finance company, we never saw a client. It was all on the phone. I say never, rarely. Once in a while, I would go visit them. I'd jump on a plane and fly from Indiana to Texas to go see a client. It was a casual business. I was selling rolling stock, yellow iron. So it was bulldozers, backhoes, semis, tractor trailers, all that kind of stuff. And that's a casual world. But in my office, where we never saw clients, right down to the car you're driving. So, first of all, the office went in there, bought a building, redid the whole thing, took the interior down to the studs, put the drywall up. I don't think I had a picture on the wall anywhere in there. Had 23 sales guys, bought used steel case desks from a local university, and they were just lined up. Everybody's on the phone. Ashamed to say that even the back room where the kitchen area and the bathroom were, I think for a long time I didn't even finish the drywall. I mean, it was like bare studs on the wall. And the point is, no walk-in traffic. Everybody was in there in shorts and t-shirts and drove luxury cars. Talk about the automobile also. Everybody drove luxury cars, whether they were driving a sports car or whatever it was. Sold that company, was doing PPMs, private placement memorandums, Security and Exchange Act 1933, small cap, 5 to 10 million bucks. Different deal. Had 43 clients, kind of a who's who. And those guys, any one of my guys, could write a check right now, today, out of their Schwab account for $1 million. They could do it at any point. They were already in the market, already own 3 houses, already own all the cars they want, and grandkids' education's paid for, looking to do something different. So those guys, oh my gosh, I mean, dressed to the nines, just when you see them. I remember one client came in my office. He was a client of mine, and he had on a blue pinstripe suit. Something was off about the pinstripe that was in the suit. And I remember looking at him, and client friend, I went over and looked real close at the pinstripe. I said, Scott, what is that? What's up with that stripe? He said, oh, that's my name in cursive in the stripe. Tailor's suit. The point is, in that office, opposite from the first office, wood on the walls, and you better have on the right clothes. No one ever walked in the office. They all looked around, but no one ever walked in and said, nice office, or looked at me and said, nice suit. Tell you what they did do. They walked in and something better click in the brain. They walked in, looked at the office, looked me from head to toe. And if something doesn't click that says this makes sense, they're not writing a check. They're not doing business with you. They wouldn't have done business with me. Some of the stuff that we hear, we read, we even repeat, I think a lot of times initially we don't understand it, and that's okay. I know I heard for a long time in college was, hey, if you only got money for, one suit, buy one suit, don't buy 2 cheap suits. Well, never truer than in that situation I was in. The way I would say it is, my guy walks in, he knows whether or not I have on a silk tie. And what I mean by that is, he's looking at me from head to toe. It better be the right shoes. We're not buying shoes from a local department store. Let's go to Allen Edmond. Let's spend $400, $500, $600 to get the right pair of shoes. Let's put on the silk tie. You might pay $100 for it. Let's get a tailor-made suit that fits well. And hey, if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of money, if you're in that situation, you need to invest in yourself. Do those basic colors before you go do tan and green and light gray and all that. Get those finance business colors. Keep it conservative, keep it tight. You can change the tie, you can wear the white shirts, etc. A lot of us are not in that situation today because it's a lot more casual. Does it matter what kind of car you drive? That doesn't have anything to do with the way you dress. But in that situation I was in, the second finance company, what could I drive and what couldn't I drive? Did not want to drive an S-Class Benz or a 7 Series Beamer because the client would think, what am I doing? Financing your lifestyle? Don't drive something nicer than your clients. Don't drive in that situation. I couldn't drive a Toyota Corolla. Nothing wrong with Toyota Corolla. But in that situation, something had to click for my clients to go, is that the guy I'm investing with? He can't afford to be here. So what was it? I found that it could have been an E-Class Benz. It could have been a 5 Series Beamer. I chose to drive an SUV, American made. Nobody's going to have an issue with that. Can get away with the Escalade, can get away with. Just think about your situation. And I'm not here to promote any of those things. You don't have to get a tailor-made suit and you don't have to drive a 5 Series. That's not what this is about. It's about being commensurate with where you are. If you work for one of these other companies and you're in an office, this may not matter to you at all. But if you're in business for yourself, and that's what we're talking about, you need to fit in and do the right thing in this new generation of casual. How do we dress? Just give it a little thought. Who in the world gets to wear a hat to work? It's more acceptable. I'm out in the sun all day. Definitely acceptable in my environment, but that's the environment I'm operating in. Employees or associates that you have, how they dress, and how you lead them. I remember I was getting ready to go to a meeting. The meeting was with an important individual. I knew that he was going to be in dress slacks and a dress shirt. It was Saturday. I was not worried about being in dress shirt, dress slacks, suit, any of that stuff. It was going to be more casual than that. It was in the middle of the day on Saturday. It was not on the golf course. It was not at the club. I was going to his office, the potential client's office. This was a lead, if you will, or contact from one of my employees. So I told the employee, hey, I'll come by, I'll pick you up. I am wearing, and I told the employee, I'm going to wear a blue pair of cotton pants like Dockers, and I'm going to wear a white polo shirt. I'm going to wear a pair of loafers. Well, big mistake. Wasn't a mistake for me. I had on, I don't know, probably recently paid $100 for the polo shirt, maybe. I don't know, I'm making it up, but it was new and it was nice. The cotton pants were from the local men's shop. They were newer. My loafers were from Allen Edmond, etc. I was dressed, ready to go to this meeting. When I picked my employee up, he was dressed just like me, but his shirt was not crisp. It was old. His blue pants were faded out. His loafers were beat up. And I picked him up and we went to the meeting. I can't remember what happened with the deal. It doesn't matter. What we're talking about is the attire, the dress. And what I learned from that was the next time I had an employee and it was casual, I just stuck to the office attire I knew they had. Next time it was dress slacks and a white dress shirt and business shoes so that I knew the employee was going to look okay and no one was embarrassed. But it was just a lesson for me. You need to be thinking also about your people, who you're leading. and what you're doing, not putting them in a situation in the workplace potentially or with clients. I want to talk about something a little more fun. It's a little bit crazy. I worked with a company as an investor. I see some different companies, and this was a software company. That's the craziest thing. I was not in Southern California. I was not in Silicon Valley. I was right here in Florida. And I'll never forget the first day. So I'm in the office. I'm up there in the CEO's office, actually, CFO's office. I start to step out of the office into the hallway. And as I do, this guy must have been 6 foot tall without shoes on. This dude races past me with a pair of roller skates on, just dressed wild. His hair was rainbow colored. I thought, what in the world is going on? And the whole place was like that. I mean, it was off the charts. Soft drinks and alcohol flowed every day of the week. I'm thinking, is that a liability? I mean, is this even right? But that just fed into the whole environment. Whether people were on roller skates or drinking alcohol in the middle of the day or whatever it was. But the attire, oh my gosh, just next level, off the charts. I couldn't believe it. They would have pajama day, and I'm thinking, okay, people are going to show up in these conservative pajamas. Oh no. Women showed up in lingerie and body parts hanging out, and I mean, it was just next level, off the charts. It was a fun work environment. That was the environment that was facilitated there. Next level casual. I mean, anything went. Whatever you're comfortable in. There were pool tables and foosball tables and air hockey and gaming, and it was that whole environment. Just different deal. Not what I would do with my office, but it depends on what environment you're in, how you fit in. You've got to figure that out. I couldn't help but think, as a business guy, I couldn't get over that liability factor, what was going on there. I think that needs to be a consideration. I don't know it was ever a problem in that environment, but it was a real deal. It's just kind of crazy. Think about what you're doing. Think about who your client is. Think about who you're leading. Present yourself well and fit in. You know, it's a new age. It's a new world. It's a different deal. And, take a look around. What are your colleagues doing? What are your friends doing? What are those that you admire? How are they dressing? Within your profession. What are they wearing? Are you fitting in, or are you sticking out like a sore thumb? And overall, dress for success. What's that mean? Figure it out. Love you guys.